Hi students, how are you? Today we can begin our next lesson, that is ninth lesson, living organisms, characteristics and habitats. So in this lesson we are going to study about the characteristics and habitats of different living organisms. And Paheli and Buju, two characters in our lesson, they went on vacation to many places, and now we can watch that places. One such trip took them to the river Ganga in Rishikesh. They climbed the mountains of the Himalayas where it was very cold. They saw many kinds of trees on these mountains: oaks, pines, and deodas, very different from the ones near their home on the plains. In yet another trip, they traveled to Rajasthan and moved on camels through the hot desert. They collected different kinds of cactus plants from this trip. Finally, they went on a trip to Puri and visited sea beach dotted with casuarina trees. While recollecting all the funs that they had on these trips, a thought stuck on them. All these places were so different from one another. Some were cold, some were very hot and dry, and some places so humid. And yet all of them had many organisms of various kinds. They tried to think of a place on earth where there may not be any living creatures. Bujo thought of places near his home. Inside the house, he tried the cupboards. He had thought that there may not be any living organisms here, but he found one tiny spider in the cupboard. Outside the home, too, there did not seem to be any place he could think of that did not have living creatures of some kind or the other. Paheli started thinking and reading about faraway places. She read that people have even found tiny living organisms in the opening of volcanoes. Another thought that occurred to Paheli and Bujo was about the kinds of living organisms that were present in different locations that they had visited. The deserts had camels, mountains had goats and yak. Puri had some other creatures, crabs on the beach, and such a variety of fish being caught by the fishermen at the sea. And then there did seem to be some creatures like ants that were present in all these different locations. The kinds of plants found in each of these regions were so different from the plants of the other regions. Now there is one activity in your textbook, activity 1. There is one table 9.1. Now we can fill that table. So we want to write the animals, plants and other objects found in different surroundings. So here we want to write the animals or plants or other objects that is found in forest, mountains, desert and sea. So forest, we can see a lot of trees. Then we can see so many animals also. So monkey, deer, lion, tiger, and so many trees also. Big trees like mahogany, teak, so many trees also. Then on mountains, what all things we can see what pine trees are there, oak trees are there, goats are there, some mountain goats are there, yaks are there. So some animals and plants. Then desert, what we can see, snake, some kind of snake, rat. Then cactus plant grows in a desert. And what we can write, camel, etc. Then in a sea, we can see some kind of snake live in sea, then prawns, and what? Whale, crab. So we can see so many plants and animals are living in different places. You look desert and sea. What about the animals and plants living in a desert and sea, or in a mountain region and forest? We can see so many differences. In mountain we can see pine trees, oak and all. But in desert we see cactus plants. In mountains we can see animals like yaks, goats and all. But in desert we can see snake, rat and all. So we can find a large variety in the plants and animals that are living in different places. Animals and plants living in sea is entirely different from the animals and plants that are living in a desert. So we have listed very different kinds of organisms in these columns. So what are the surroundings in these regions? Surroundings are also entirely different. In a desert, it is surrounded by sand and it is very hot. Availability of water is very less. But in sea, it is surrounded by water. In the sea, plants and animals are surrounded by saline water. Saline water means salt water. But in desert, there is very little water. And it is very hot in the daytime and very cold at night in a desert. So the sea and desert are very different surroundings. And we find very different kinds of plants and animals in these two regions. Now we can discuss about two different kinds of organisms, one from the desert and the other from the sea. That is a camel and a fish. So we can look what are the features that is present in camel that help it to live in a desert, and what are the features that is present in a fish that help to live in water. First, we can discuss about camel. Okay, so in desert we know it is very hot, availability of water is very less. So there are some features in camel that help it to live in a desert. So we can look which are the features that is present in the body of camel that help it to live in a desert. And first thing is that camels have long legs. So first feature is they have long legs. So what happens, sand is very hot. So if they have a small short leg, what happens? Distance from the sand will be very less. So heat from the sand will come and touch their bodies. So and they won't be able to survive that heat. But if they have long legs, what happens? Their body is far away from this hot sand. So the heat of the sand won't affect their body. So these camels have long legs that help it to keep their bodies away from the heat of the sand. Then second thing is that they excrete small amount of urine. We know when we are passing out urine, a lot of water from our body is going out. So if the camel, they are living in place where the availability of water is very less. And if they are passing out a large quantity of urine, what happens? Water from their body will go out. So they are passing out or excreting only small amount of urine. So a lot of water will be stored in their body. It won't go out as urine. So second point is that they excrete small amount of urine. Okay. Then about their dung also. We know cow dung and all, it is not very dry. It is like a paste. Some amount of water is present in cow dung. But in camel, their dung is very dry. So water is not going out through the dung also. So the next point is their dung is dry. Okay. Then third thing is that we know when we are sweating, some amount of water is going out from our body. But the camels do not sweat. That means water is not going out from their body. So other point is that they do not sweat. So water is not going out. So through urine, only less amount of water is going out. They are excreting less amount of urine. Their dung is dry and they do not sweat. So since they lose very little water from their bodies, they can live for many days without water. And whenever they get water, they can drink a lot of water also and store it in their body also. Okay. So these are some of the adaptations that is given in your textbook. So in addition to these points, there are so many other adaptations also. Like they have wide feet for walking in sand. Then they have long eyelashes and thin slit nostrils that they can close to protect them from blowing sand. Then they are adapted to survive a long time without water and food. They have an extremely large intestine that absorbs every last drop of water from the food they eat. Then their excess food is stored in their hump. You have seen now one hump on their back. You can see one hump on its back. This is the hump, this part. So they have a hump on their back and they will store their excess food in this hump. Okay. So you can see on their body there is a hump-like structure. So this is the hump on their body and the excess food is stored in this hump. And whenever they need food, what they do, they will take, when they are walking through desert and all, they won't get enough food. So they will take the stored fat that is present in their hump also. Okay, so these are some of the other adaptations that is present in a camel that help it to survive in a desert. First, these are the points given in your textbook. So you should study at least these points. That is, they have long legs, excrete small amount of urine, dung is dry, and they do not sweat. Okay. Next, we can look at the different kinds of fish. So we can discuss the features that are present in a fish that help to survive in or live in water. So next is about fish. Okay, so we can look at different kinds of fish. There are so many kinds of fish. But do you see that they all have something common about their shape? What is their shape? Last lesson we studied. We have studied that they have a streamlined body shape. Streamlined body shape means ends are pointed and middle part is bulged. And this body shape is called streamlined body shape. And which are the features that also we have discussed in the movement of fish. So one first point is that they have a streamlined body shape that help them to swim in water. Then second thing is that they have slippery scales on their body. So some slippery scales are present on their body. And these scales protect the fish and also help in easy movement through the water. So these scales give protection to their body and also help them in the easy movement in water. Then what about their fins? That also we have discussed. The fins on the tail help them in swimming and the fins on the sides of their body. What is the function? That help them to keep balance and also to change the direction also. Okay, then what about breathing? We can breathe the oxygen that is present in the air. What about fish? It is breathing the oxygen that is dissolved in water. So we have lungs that help us to absorb the oxygen from air. But by lungs, we can't absorb the oxygen dissolved in water. So to absorb the oxygen dissolved in water, fish have another respiratory organ called gills. So respiratory organ in fish is gill. And these gills present in the fish help them to use oxygen that is dissolved in water. Okay, so fish have streamlined body shape. Then they have scales also that help in fish swimming. Then they have fins on the tail and fins on the sides. And they have gills that help them to breathe the oxygen that is dissolved in water. So we saw there are some features in camel that help it to survive in a desert. And the features present in fish is entirely different from that of camel. Features in fish help it to live in water. So we see that the features of a fish help it to live inside water, and the features of a camel help it to survive in a desert. Okay. We have taken only 2 examples from a very wide variety of animals and plants that live on the earth. In all this variety of organisms, we will find that they have certain features that help them to live in the surroundings which they are normally found. And the presence of specific features or certain habits which enable an organism to live naturally in a place is called adaptation. So what is adaptation? The presence of specific features. So we saw fish have gills, scales, fins and all. Like that, the presence of certain features which help that organism to live naturally in that place. So gills, fins, scales, all these are helping fish to live naturally in water. So what is adaptation? The presence of specific features or habits which enable an organism to live naturally in a place is called adaptation. So we saw the adaptations of fish. And what are the adaptations of camel? They have long legs. They excrete a small amount of urine. Their dung is dry. They do not sweat. So many adaptations. Okay. So what are adaptations? Specific features that help an organism to live in a particular place. Clear now? Okay. So adaptations of organisms differ depending on their place of living. If they are living in desert, they will have some other adaptations. If they are living in water, they will have some other adaptations. So adaptations differ according to their place of living. So that is why fish cannot live out of water and camel cannot live in sea. The place where the organisms live is called habitat. So what habitat? Habitat means the place where the organisms are living. So the fish is living in water. So what is the habitat of fish? Habitat of fish is water or river or sea. Okay. The habitat provides food, water, air, shelter and all other needs to organisms. So fish, if it is living in sea, from the sea it will get food, water, air, shelter, everything. So the habitat provides everything for the organisms. So what is habitat? The place where the organisms are living. That place is called habitat. Or habitat means their home. Habitat is their home. So if the animals are or plants are living on land, then that habitat is called terrestrial habitat. Terrestrial habitat. So terrestrial habitat means their habitat is on where? Land or water. Habitat is on land. So if plants are living on land, mango tree, coconut tree and all grows on land. So their habitat is terrestrial habitat. Lion, tiger and all live on land. So their habitat is terrestrial habitat. So if plants and animals are living on land, then their habitat is called as terrestrial habitat. Okay. And examples, what you can say, forest is a terrestrial habitat, grassland, desert, coastal region, mountain region. All these are examples for terrestrial habitats. Some are living in forests, some are living on grassland, desert, mountain region and all. So what is that habitat? That habitat is called as terrestrial habitat. But we know some plants and animals are living in water. So their habitat is water. So if water is the habitat, then that habitat is called as aquatic habitat. So if they are living in water, then that habitat is called aquatic habitat. So fish have aquatic habitat. Camel have a terrestrial habitat. So we know lake, river, pond, all these are examples for aquatic habitat. Clear? So today we were discussing about the adaptations of plants and animals that help them to live in different regions. So adaptations means particular features that are present in an organism that help them to survive in a particular region. So we were discussing about the adaptations of camel that help it to live in a desert and adaptations of fish that help to live in water. And the place where animals and plants are living are called habitat. If the habitat is on land, we call it as terrestrial habitat. And if their habitat is in water, we call it as aquatic habitat. So example for terrestrial habitat, forest, grassland, desert, all these are examples. Aquatic habitat example, river, pond, lake, etc. Clear now? Okay, bye.